I'm so incredibly lucky that I have a projector that I can use for my sewing. So you'll see here that I'm taking a little bit of time just calibrating my projector and making sure that it is accurate. So I'm making the Joan Wiggle dress by Charm Patterns for a friend of mine. She wanted a dress that made her look like a cute octopus because she is presenting a board game called Octocube. So I thought this would be a really great pattern to do a nice fitted top with some long sleeves. She's someone who feels the cold a lot. But one thing I noticed as soon as I got this gorgeous sequin fabric out, it was really, really hard to see the projections onto it. And with a pattern that was going to require some really careful fabric placements, I decided to change tactics and trace the pattern out on a piece of paper instead so that I could be a little bit more accurate with my cutting. So accuracy, I think, is super important when it comes to your sewing. You're going to get a lot more professional results by really focusing on accuracy. So this is where I think it's actually faster to sew by going slower. Something I say a lot when I'm teaching people is just take your time. When you slow down, you make less mistakes, you're actually going to sew faster. And what you'll see me doing there is also, while I am tracing my pattern, I'm writing on the traced pieces which pattern piece am I using and what size is it, how many do I need to cut of both the fabric and the lining so that I can use this pattern again rather than having to trace it off again if I don't want to. So this is a really great way to use your projector. I think there's a lot of misconceptions that a projector should only be used for projecting a pattern onto a fabric and then cutting it out, which isn't always realistic. Sometimes we want to be able to grade between sizes. Sometimes I'm tracing a pattern off because a friend of mine has said, oh, I just need a top that looks like this. So being able to use your projector to trace off patterns as well, especially if you're using really delicate fabrics that are a bit slippy, sometimes tracing them off on paper, especially if you want to change the shape of a sleeve or, alter the line of a dress, absolutely utilize this technique as well, because rather than printing everything off and having to stick it together, I promise you that tracing it on your projector is going to be so much faster. I am going to spend a bit of time in my next live stream talking about projectors. Look forward to seeing you all there. Please ask any questions you have below. Bye.